What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truax. It was a landslide, one-sided fight. Caleb won every single round. Now, let me say this about Caleb Plant because a lot of people are calling him out, saying he's a punk, he's running from Benavidez and he's running from Canelo. And okay, now let me just say this because I saw a video. Max Kellerman, has his own show, and he's talking to Caleb Plant, and he says to Caleb Plant that Caleb Truax is not supposed to beat you. This fight is meant for you to look spectacular. We all know that. Caleb knows that. Caleb didn't try to be defensive and say, "Oh no, man, this guy's, he's just as good as anybody." No, he knows that. He agreed and understood that. Now, Caleb also had like a FaceTime with this guy, Caleb Truax, and he's telling him, you fight guys that don't belong in there with you. You haven't stepped up yet. Now, Caleb says, and so have you. You fought many guys that didn't belong in there with you, right? So Caleb is acknowledging that, but he also acknowledges that he's saying he needs to look spectacular, and this is the fight he wants to launch himself into that fight. This guy Truex was actually his mandatory, and the IBF wouldn't let him step aside to say, push off Truex so he can go forward to fight a Canelo or. Now, of course, biased fans like to come up with their own narratives and tell you what it was and what it wasn't. And I don't go by that nonsense. I go by the news that we get. Now, if it doesn't add up, we can question that. But at the same time, Max said something very contradicting of himself. He said he was talking about Canelo in his video, and he says Canelo has a solid, stellar resume of who's who, right? People that he's fought, and he says that Canelo, he's fighting guys. He mentioned like Callum Smith, Sergey Kovalev. He's like, but he's not. He's fighting some of the guys you want to see him fight, but he's not fighting the guys that we really, really want to see him fight. And I'm not at all saying he's running from anybody. Well, remember how harshly him and Jim Lampley used to criticize Floyd and Harold Letterman or whatever. They all wanted to make it like Floyd was ducking guys. Now remember when Floyd fought Canelo? Remember before he fought him? I can't remember who it was that Floyd beat somebody and beat the brakes off of him. And I remember the guy saying, Larry Merchant, not Harold Letterman, Larry Merchant. And Larry Merchant says, if Floyd Mayweather thinks he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world, why doesn't he fight Canelo Alvarez? Remember that shit? Everybody was pushing for this fight. Floyd said, okay, fuck it. When he beat Canelo, they made every excuse. Oh, Canelo's too young. From whether it was, what's the guy that does this, Skip Bayless. This poor kid, he's in there with this masterful defensive fighter. He's never been there with anyone like. Wait. Before this fight, you guys all said Canelo was going to be too big, strong in his youth, everything. And he had the skills, he was going to beat Floyd. Now all of a sudden, Floyd fight a guy when he's too old or too young. Floyd is a fucking a magician. And not only that, he's a perfect specimen of a magician, because he knows exactly when to fight you, how to fight you, and everything just goes his way. You know how many cherry picks we've seen go wrong? So Canelo was a fucking cherry pick. Here's a guy who had 40 plus fights just like Floyd, much younger than Floyd, had far more amateur fights than Floyd, but all of a sudden now he's a baby. When Floyd won his title, he was what, 20, 21, when he beat Gennaro Hernandez? Well, here's my thing, right? And I've said this before, okay? People like Wilfredo Benitez, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, all these guys won their championships when they were, put like this, 22 and under. Now all of a sudden Canelo was a baby. Okay, for everybody saying that Caleb Plant is running from the Canelo, do you guys understand this is only his 20th fight? You understand what I'm saying? So Canelo is already way up there in high 40s. With how is he running from him? Someone made a comment and said if Caleb was a true warrior, he would have just took the fight with Canelo. You don't need a full training camp. What kind of stupid nonsense is that? Why would you not need a full training camp? You think that that's cool? I like Canelo as a fighter, but you think that's cool for Canelo? Hey, look, Kovalev, yeah, you want the fight? Yeah, man. Yeah, you only got 4 weeks to train though. Take it or leave it. Yeah, Callum Smith. Yeah, man. You want the fight? You only got 4 weeks to train though. Take it or leave it. You think that Canelo is not in shape already? No, Canelo is in tip-top shape. Now all he needs is to maintain. Who am I fighting? He's looking at who he wants. I want him and him. These are the two. Let's watch their styles. Let's study them. Whichever one takes it, that's the one I'm focusing on. He's already in shape. You understand what I'm saying? Let's not be stupid. That's not cool, man. That is not cool. Every fighter should have a full training camp. And the only way something like that should happen is if a guy pulls out of a fight and then now you put the offer out there and people, hey, I take it. Because now whatever kind of shape you in, well, you got from that time that you get the call to fight night. So do the best you can. But at the end of the day, even for fighters that's in shape, you still have to study your opponent. You still have to be prepared mentally and understand what you're going against. And you know, this is Caleb, 20 fights coming in. Are you serious? You guys are saying he's running and you know he should go after. Yeah, we want to see him fight Benavidez and we want to see him fight Canelo. I believe he wants those fights, okay? But at the same time, Canelo had 20 more fights than he had when he fought Floyd. But he was a baby. And people say, yeah, but age-wise, you mature. No, not necessarily. That's not every fighter. There's no rule that says you're more mature and better as a fighter at 28 than you are at 22. That's not for everybody, no. Because there's many fighters that we can sit here and bring up right now that you can think about it. Damn, yeah, that's right. That guy, yeah, he actually decreased. Yeah, he wasn't as good by that time. No. I'm not focused on maxing all of them, but I'm bringing this up for people to understand, you know. It's easy to say somebody's ducking a guy and running from a guy just because you want that guy to lose. We see where Caleb goes from here. Let's see where he goes from here. Let's see what Canelo, because right now we're hearing that he's fighting Billy Joe Saunders in May, right? Now, ask yourself, how many people do you think, if they put these polls up all the time, Billy Joe Saunders' rank is not high in terms of people vote with who they would rather see Canelo fight next. Everybody wants to see him versus Charlo. Even Andre number is down, but they would rather see him fight Charlo. I have no interest in seeing him fight Triple G a third time. I really don't. I'd rather see him fight Jamal Charlo. I'd rather see him fight Demetrius Andre, than to fight Canelo. I mean, there's other guys out there. And here's my thing: even if you think Canelo's going to win, that's fine. The point is, fight the better guys. You understand what I'm saying? Billy Joe Saunders, he's a good fighter. I don't think many people give him a chance to win. I believe most people feel like this is going to be another fight that Canelo just goes in and dominates and wins. I strongly believe that that's how people feel. Now, if that's what actually happens, we'll see. But Canelo is you know, all of this giving people, you know, 4 weeks and notice it. No, man, no, that's just a month. Training camps are 3 months, man. For the most part, just to give somebody a month, and I mean, come on, man, like that's crazy. But we'll see what Caleb Plant goes from here. Now, we know that it won't be next because Canelo has a fight with his mandatory. After his mandatory, then he's talking about fighting Saunders in May. Okay? Maybe after that, who knows? Okay, we'll see. Benavidez versus, here's what I think. In all honesty, I think that, you know, Benavidez says he wants to fight Caleb next. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Okay? Definitely, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Now, does the winner fight Canelo after that, or do they fight and then we don't know. We don't know. Canelo has options as the franchise champion to go up and down in weight classes, so we don't know what Canelo's going to do. But after Billy Joe Saunders, what happens? You know, if Billy Joe Saunders can pull off the win, okay, if he can pull off the win, well, it would definitely be a rematch with him and Canelo. So it wouldn't be, okay, I beat Canelo, now I'm on to this person. I'm just, if he can pull off the win. I'm not even going to take. I'm not even going to take it there. I'll start just options. We'll just see what happens first. I don't want to think ahead, but we'll see what happens. Now, one thing I will say about Caleb Plant, as far as him fighting against Canelo, Caleb Plant. One thing he has great all around skills. One thing that I see that he does a lot of. There's times where he'll slow down, and mostly in the later rounds. And I don't know if he just, I think to me, it look like he's just doing it just to get a breather. All right, I'm ahead. No need to go crazy. Let me just, take my time. Canelo's the kind of guy you're going to have to be busier against. He doesn't have to punch himself out. Just give himself space and distance. Caleb has power. He doesn't have devastating power, but he has power. He has enough power to keep you humble. Nobody's walking through him. And if Caleb understands he doesn't have to be the hardest puncher, but he needs to just keep, working on his craft, on his skills, and not put himself in positions where he's getting hit with unnecessary shots. Because one thing about Canelo, he'll make it a dogfight if he have to. And Caleb, basically, there's times where you see when he's not doing much, in the mind, people are imagining that was Canelo. Canelo will be doing this, that, and the third. But if Caleb understands, the opponents in front of him, he knows, he's not in any real danger, then yeah, he has that cushion to be able to take those rounds and say, okay, let me slow it down a little bit. Let me take my time. But for him to beat Canelo, to me, I think he just needs to do what he keeps doing. Now, if he's going to actually win, we'll have to see. But I'm saying I don't feel like he has to go in there and prepare to throw 100 punches around. No. Timing. Precise shots. Timing. His movement. Everything that his whole skill set. I don't think there's just one thing he's going to use, like one style he's just going to beat him with. No, I think he needs to just use everything he knows. And we'll see what happens. But Canelo definitely is going to put that pressure on him. Canelo's going to try to take him out of his comfort zone. And that's what you have to do to Canelo. Because Canelo's a very patient fighter. He'll wait patiently. He's working his way in. He's not like he's getting beat up and he's losing the fight. He gets in. He's doing it. We've seen that against Kovalev. How there was nothing dominant going on, but he was cutting the ring off. He was coming in on Kovalev. And Kovalev, even though he's throwing a lot of shots, he was missing most of those shots. And even the shots that were landing, there was nothing was really on those shots, And I feel like with Caleb Plant, he's a sharpshooter type puncher, man. And the thing is with Caleb, one thing that he has to be careful of, okay, and to not do is when he gets tired, a lot of times he will throw combinations, right? I'm not saying he shouldn't. It's a feeling you get when you're in the ring. You know when and when not to. But with speed, timing you can cut the guy's shots off when he's throwing these shots. Sometimes and maybe that's something that he's corrected. But a lot of times people get overwhelmed when they're fighting certain guys. Like this is the guy. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I just want to see a great fight, regardless to who wins the fight. But Caleb, just certain things like overcommitting to shots when he's tired, maybe try to make up for points, and you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just saying like there's things you gotta be careful of because Canelo is very crafty, man. And if you're throwing 5-6 punch combinations to try to load up, that's not good when you're tired. because those shots are not coming as fast as they were earlier in the fight. And you know, when you're throwing a shot and you get timed, it could be lights out for you. You know, but Caleb is a solid fighter. He did what he had to do. He shut the guy out. People was, oh, but he didn't knock him out. No, he didn't knock him out. I don't care what he said about knocking him out. The ref gonna have to stop it. His corner's gonna stop it, or he'll stop. It doesn't matter. Fighters, many times, Ali said he's gonna knock people out, and times it didn't happen. So it doesn't make a difference who you are. They're all human. Ali's human. Ray Robinson's human. Joe Frazier's human. George Foreman. All these guys are not superhumans. They're human beings. That's what they are. That's all they are, and nothing more. So we can build up these He-Man stories, these incredible Hulk characters in our minds, and try to fool ourselves to believe that this is what they were. No, they all human beings. I don't care what they say. What you're capable of doing in that ring, okay, that's what matters come fight night. Not what you say. It's what you actually do. So, you know, if he's going to beat Canelo, let's see. If he's going to beat Benavidez or whoever, let's see. That's the whole point. You know, Benavidez and Jamal Charlo talking smack back and forth now. So we don't know, you know, what's next. Only thing we can do is wait and see what happens. See how it plays out. See how it develops. Try to enjoy the journey, you know, and that's one of the reasons I hate boxing channels, honestly, because all they do is piss and moan about every fight, every fighter. This guy's running, this guy's that, this guy's doing this, but we don't take the time to sit and look and analyze everything. You know, again, like I said, man, this is only 20 fights for this guy. You know, look, you can't sit here and say that this guy, you know, Canelo was a baby when he fought Floyd, but yet the guy had over 300 amateur fights. Had 40 plus fights. Floyd had 40 plus fights. And then all of a sudden, now he's a baby. Same age Floyd was, and Floyd won his first championship. So let's not play that game. No, he was no baby. And bottom line is, look at what he did after he lost the fight to Floyd. Went on and beat other legends. Went on and beat other guys. You know, so let's not sit here and make excuses, man. You know, yeah, Shane Mosley was up there, but you know it's funny they didn't keep bringing that up like they did when he fought Floyd. So, Caleb Plant, you know, Canelo has more experience. Nobody's looking to make excuses. I'm certainly not looking to make excuses for anybody. You accept that fight, that means you're ready. You think you can win this fight. There's no, oh, Caleb was just a bait. No, but double standard. Like if you're going to be real all the time. Not just when it's convenient for you to try to look good. Caleb Plant has less than half of the fights that Canelo has. You know, no excuses. Canelo, when he fought Floyd, he was a bad dude. He just got beat by a bad dude. It's as simple as that. So that's why they keep saying that, well, Floyd, if he fought Canelo now, why are you even bringing Floyd up as an opponent for Canelo now when Floyd is retired? You know, that they can't let that go. They want to be able to try to convince everybody that, oh, Canelo's a much improved fighter. He would, okay, what? Even if you think he beat Floyd now, what does that have to do with anything? When it counted, guess what? Floyd beat him. So that's that. Move on. But the comparison I'm making is just for the excuses that people do hypocritically. So I think that Caleb Plant is in a good position right now. He's in a great position right now. Now, should he beat Benavidez, that he's definitely in demand for that Canelo fight. If Benavidez beats him, same thing. And not only that, Benavidez will have a title again. So Canelo said he wants to unify the division. You know, if that's the case, well, he's going to have to fight Caleb. That's why I'm saying everybody that keeps talking about he's running for what? He fought a mandatory, man. Let's. I mean, like seriously, he fought it. This was his mandatory, so he's supposed to give up his belt just so he can fight Canelo, and you know what I mean? Come on. Anyway, look, y'all. He did what he had to do. Unanimous decision. He won every single round, made it look easy, and he did his job. So at the end of the fight, you know, they talked a lot of smack before that, but his opponent was clapping for him when he won. Good to see, good sportsmanship. And he did what he had to do. So all I'm going to say on this video, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.